Before we go back to graduates and employment, are you in any position to just give us something brief on the finance bill and what people are up against?
Yeah, I've read,
in case they vote for or they're against, because now you're one of the people that I can say definitely, I'm sure you're in tune with what's happening there.
100%. I have to be in tune with the finance bill because it's an act, it's a law that is being passed. So I'm a law student. So I have to be abreast with all the acts and laws that are being passed. So I've read the finance bill.
You've gone through it?
I've gone through it entirely.
Really?
Yes.
Okay, so now you have to, because now trust me, you're going to help a lot of people, because even on X or TikTok, people are posting all this, but from and you know how crazy this is when you see even lifestyle influencers talking about the finance bill. When you see your Forex guys arguing and they're also talking about a Forex bill. Now you know this is something that's...
I've seen someone talking about that. I've seen it. It's a meme somewhere that if you see buddies talking about the finance bill, there is something.
There is something. So if there's an easy way you can just break it down for us, on if people vote yes or no to it and how it can actually affect us even in the next 5 to 10 years, what are we dealing with exactly? Because you're talking to people now maybe who are not really conversant, or even if they want to read it, they might not interpret it the best way possible.
Yeah. We are dealing with a very punitive bill. And I'd come out clear to just say that. So the theme for the budget proposal for the financial year of 2024/2025 is sustaining the bottom-up economic model and improving livelihoods.
When you say that,
that's the theme.
No. When you say that, remember, that's me. I want you to break it down to now for the Instagram buddies, TikTok buddies, and just ordinary people. Because I think also the biggest mistake you'll even notice, and even what people are saying, most people are saying we just don't understand the terms that are being used in the finance bill, because we can read, but do we understand what exactly it means?
It's hard to grasp. Even for me, myself, as a law student, I have to read through the bill at least 3 or 4 times. Because even the bill contains certain economic phrases that I might not really understand. So I have to go reference it back to someone who specializes in economy so that I can also understand. But it is still a law. People can be able to read it. So that was the theme that they said. So there is an economic model of bottom-up in which they want to at least increase the livelihoods of people, especially people who are down below the pyramids of income.
Okay.
So that is the major theme of the finance bill and the budget proposal. But the bill itself, or the proposal itself, does the exact opposite. So I'd like to say something. No MP, especially from the Kenya Kwanza government, or nobody should justify to you and tell you that the budget proposal or even the finance bill, because the finance bill affects our budget proposal, nobody should tell you that it is going to improve your livelihoods.
Okay.
Because the same people who are telling you to improve your livelihoods, they implemented a certain strategy. Now, this is where the complexities come. There is something that we call the MTRS.
Okay.
Medium-term revenue strategy. And the main aim of the medium-term revenue strategy is to increase our tax base, which in turn increases our domestic revenue. But what do you think that is for? To service our debt, mainly.
Okay. The
major thing that...
So higher taxation for us definitely will mean also we can't really afford some of the basic amenities that we used to actually just enjoy.
Yeah, you are not going to afford it. And at the same time, you're going to work hard so that you can provide the taxes to the government so that they can service the debt.
Okay.
And this is the problem. And especially with Africa. And I'd not really like to get into neocolonialism because it's a very...
That's a whole topic for a different day, right?
Neocolonialism, I don't want to really talk about it because I also have different views. But the major propellant of the finance bill is that we have to meet conditions or regulations that are set by the International Monetary Fund. You know, the problem is that when you go to Twitter, we see Ruto has gotten 20 billion from
certain
the IMF,
funds,
certain funds.
Yeah.
And Ruto comes to you on stage and tells you, celebrate, I've gotten money for you. I've gotten loans for you.
There's something I just want to open. I don't know whether it's possible to, because it was something to do with a breakdown of a salary. I don't know whether it's something that you've seen.
Yeah,
I've seen the salary breakdown of like 50,000 and how it was broken down to how.
To almost half.
By the time, like, in fact, what was remaining, let me just see if I can open it right now so that at least we can talk with, because you can also like just clarify and maybe if it's wrong or if it's right according to, where's this screenshot that I took?
There's been so many. I've also bumped into a lot of
I think
the estimates. Yeah.
Possible pay slip after finance bill takes effect. Gross salary breakdown for Kenyans earning 50,000. And this is 50,000, which is above the average salary of Kenyans.
It's very, very above.
So it was broken down, and let's just go with what you have to pay, probably, like I think deductions. Monthly relief, 2,400. Tax income 47,600. Payee, 14,000. What does this even mean? Or am I getting it? Okay. Like just
let me see.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, so the gross salary breakdown for someone who's earning 50,000.
Yeah.
Likely someone who's not married. That is what they've written here.
Actually, true. I hadn't even put that into consideration.
Non-married, including the housing levy. So they get a monthly relief of 2,400, a taxable income. A taxable income now 47,600.
Yeah.
Then pay as you earn, payee. 14,280, they deduct that one. So they have an NHIF proposed of 1,620 will be deducted. Another 1,000 for NSSF, a housing levy of 1,428. So after all that deductions, you would be taking home 29,192.
Yeah. And then now you come to like now personal expenses, right?
Yeah. Now, the reason why they have said an unmarried person is now they want to calculate how you're going to be spending the 29,192. So for rent, an average house of a one bedroom, especially in Nairobi, in Eastlands, is 10,000, right?
Yeah.
Electricity about 1,000, fuel and gas about 1,500.
Yeah.
So bus fare for about, they have multiplied 150 times 22 days, 3,300. Then they've gone to food, some of the most critical food items that you'd never miss in any household.
Just basics.
Yeah, you have unga, 200 kgs, a total of 800, they've estimated. Sugar, also 460, which I believe it's even more than that.
It's more.
So we have bread, cooking oil, and also airtime. So after all that expenses, the nitty-gritties of spending in a household, you'd remain with 5,138.
That's madness. Because imagine, we're talking about someone who hasn't even, like, we haven't said internet at Safaricom 4,000 or Netflix,
they haven't
entertainment. You haven't
Zero
gone to visit, like, friends or family, a get together.
Yeah.
That's not even there. And this is from somebody who earns 50,000. So let's come down now to someone who earns probably the average salary. It's around 20 something, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah.
Around 22, 25 there, if I'm not wrong. So you can only imagine if now we start the deductions from an average salary of 22,000. There is no way possible people will be able to just progress in any way.
You can't progress, you cannot invest.
You can't invest.
You can't invest.
Okay. Because what about school fees here? If you have a kid.
It's not there. They have said this is for a non-married person.
My goodness.
Single and non-married.
Yeah.
And I believe most people who are earning 50,000 and above, they have someone in the household.
Yes.
They have a wife.
Yes.
50,000.
Yeah.
This is what you get. My father used to earn about 80,000. But with that little money that he had during 2000, 2006 there, he was able to invest with the little money and do a lot of pragmatic things.
Everything. Even take the family out.
And Definitely.
Buy presents during festive seasons.
Yeah, because most of the deductions that have been introduced right now, they were not really there.
Okay, now my next question would be like when such a bill is proposed, right?
Yeah.
And this is just from like a layman's terms, right? It's the MPs who are supposed to say yes or no to it.
Simple.
So us as the public, we really don't have control to it. And that's why people are encouraging, tell your MPs not to vote for it.
So under Article 69 of the Constitution, it provides for the principle of governance, public governance. And one of the most critical one is public participation. So as a law student, there has been a problem with public participation. In most of the cases, there has been no clear, defined threshold to say now this amounts to clear public participation. Because our biggest involvement into a bill is majorly through public participation, whereby they say that, okay, today we are going to be meeting people at Jivanji Gardens at this time and this time. Please bring your proposal. Let's discuss on this bill and all that. Then table your proposal and all that. But public participation has been seen just as a formality. Whereby they'll say, okay, we're going to be meeting people. If 10 people show up, they don't care. They say, we have done public participation. Okay, now we're going to be passing the bill. So it is the MPs decide, but they are giving you a notion of control through public participation, which is unclear in the law.
So us, we're supposed to go and meet them.
We are supposed to be going and meeting them.
How, when we have 8 to 5s, maybe people, regular people have 8 to 5s, right?
That's what I'm saying. Public participation.
And then this public participation, where there is no documentation we're signing or anything. They're supposed to talk to us, and then we say like, "Oh, this is what we want.
This is what we feel. This is what we want." So that's the
so.
problem.
So then, how? Okay, even like let's just say in general, on X and how people are debating like online. I'm just thinking about it this way: like it's practically useless because we're still not in control of anything, of the outcome. Do we have any? Is there any way we can manipulate, like the outcome?
The outcome
as a public, even as much as we're crying online.
Revolution.
What do you mean?
Revolution.
We can't go to the streets. I'm not going to the streets with matching torches and everything. Corona already put us in a place where...
Revolution is the number one way.
But how? What do you mean by
change.
revolution? Break it down for ordinary mwananchi. What does that mean? Does that mean protesting?
That is even less gruesome.
Because honestly speaking, I think also one of the things where Kenyans are right now, it's like people are so tired because they're thinking like, okay, even if we start protesting, right?
Yeah.
We stop now businesses from running. And a lot of people are doing like, you have your 8 to 5, but you also have something else on the side so that you can be able to meet like basic needs. So even the energy for you to think of stopping and affecting your business in the next 7 working days and affecting that income that's coming is not something that it's up for discussion for them. So, and that's why I'm just trying to say that as much as people are talking like online and complaining, tell your MP. What if the MPs are compromised then?
That is why I'm saying revolution is the best way in order for you to change a lot of things in a country where you're facing oppression.
Okay.
Because I might be saying revolution and someone thinks that's against the law. That is not something that we're supposed to do.
Is it legal or is it
It's
illegal?
legal. But it hasn't been clear. But if we read the Constitution, the first chapter talks about sovereignty of the people. Most people don't really understand the magnitude of this phrase. And under the Constitution, it says, power belongs to the people. Take, for instance, in a country like Venezuela, if I'm getting it right, but there was a country in which people stormed into the State House and sat even on the president's chair. You might think it's illegal, but that Constitution provides that at all times, the power will always belong to the people. If there happens to be a public uprising in which the people now decide, we are now fed up with certain laws, we are fed up with certain leadership, it is permitted for you to air out your grievances. So that is what I really want to see in Kenya. And I'm excited of whatever is going on X, but the only problem is that not everyone is on X.
Yeah.
We have buddies, we have...
True.
Yeah,
but also the thing is, like, even now, if we still come back to just the finance bill, and just if you can help me, like, understand this. So the person who, or the people who would be pushing for this the most would be who? The president and people around him? Or, like, what, how do they benefit from pushing this bill to be passed with a yes?
The president already benefited.
How? Personally, or are we talking about his...
his administration.
Okay, his administration.
They had already benefited. Now...
But when you say benefited, what do you mean by that?
When I say benefited...
Yeah.
Is
because he's working for the people, though, because maybe when he's saying he's getting, exactly. So
let me say something. And
and understand, like, we're talking about ordinary Mwananchi needs to understand what different terms mean.
Let me just be controversial to it.
Yeah.
Kenya is filled with corruption, okay? It's nice. But for you to do the corruption, what do you need? You need money, right?
Yeah.
So if, let's say, Ruto takes a trip to, let's say, Europe and is given maybe a loan of about 20 billion. This loan is going to come back to Kenya and it's going to be allocated to certain ministries and everything. That is where now you have to steal the money and everything. So that's where the benefit is coming from.
Okay.
They have gotten funds.
Yeah.
But the problem is that you have to later pay for it. So as I was saying, that the biggest regulation that the IMF put was that there has to be, this is quite complex, there has to be an overhaul of the Schedule 1 and Schedule 2 of the Income Tax Act, in which by they are going to be introducing VAT to almost everything, finance, banking, education, and all that. Those are conditions that are set there.
Before the money is given.
Before the money is given. When you see Ruto going for any event and you see people are signing something down there, it's not a formal thing to do. It's not ceremonial, as people say. There are conditions.
Terms and conditions that need to be followed for us to actually do this.
Yeah. The IMF is telling you, you see that act that you've put in place in which you are not taxing banking services. I want you to repeal it.
Okay.
I want you to change it. I want you to tax them now.
Because now things like, I think it's M-Pesa transactions are about to go slightly higher. Infrastructural bonds which were not being taxed or tax-free.
Yeah.
Now apparently there's a 5% that's being introduced, unfortunately. And also, like, just when it comes to such things, now it means, like we've said, his administration will benefit from that.
Yeah.
But now the taxpayers have to pay back the money through, like, now the taxes being introduced.
The taxpayers have to pay. And the problem is that the loans that we're getting, a huge percentage of it we are losing through corruption. A huge percentage of the money we are getting, we are losing through corruption.
Okay, so here's the thing again, and that's why I said, like, as much as we discuss of the things that we want and the things that could possibly take place, do you think, personally, just like, just taking off the administrative, like, hat, do you think personally there is any way possible that we can have a different outcome out of this? Because the money is already there. The tax are going to be introduced because there is no way you can say the government is not going to pay back that money that's already been given to them.
They have to pay.
So the tax is being introduced to us. Do you think there's any way possible that even if Kenyans say they do not want that, because we've said we're losing that money through corruption, a huge percentage.
Very huge percentage.
So what that means is, if I'm not wrong, a lot of members of parliament are already compromised.
Benefiting from it.
Yeah.
Now you asked how are they benefiting?
Yeah.
They are also benefiting from it.
Through the ministries and now...
Through the ministries, through the tenders, and even surprisingly, parliamentarians are bribed in order to pass certain bills.
No, that's why I'm saying, when I say compromise, it's because I'm thinking that with that huge sum, or those lump sums of money that's coming in, if a certain person is given, like, an X amount of money, I do not think even your public outcry, like we say, oh, Nani, please, we don't want... If he's already received the money, he knows what his vote is going to be.
Yeah. So that is the problem now we are having in Kenya. People, in fact, people are saying that we do not have a legislature in place. Because if you look at how our system of governance is, is that there are three arms of the government. And the three arms of the government have to be independent in its own self, but they have to be working together in harmony. So in case there is anything that the executive is tabling that is detrimental, let me say detrimental to the citizen, they should be able to freely and independently voice out whatever the people are telling them or what is beneficial to the people. But the problem is that the government is going hard on whatever they're going to pass or whatever they need to be enacted. So how does this happen? They bribe member of parliaments. They threat their member of parliaments.
Or actually, if you decide not to vote for us...
Yeah, if you are a Kenya Kwanza...
We might do something so that, you lose even your position.
You lose your position, or maybe in the next coming election, we will punish you.
Okay.
That is what is really happening right now. So most of the people who are even in Kenya Kwanza government, they know how punitive the bill is. But because of how tough the administration has been on legislatures, they would never speak about it. And surprisingly, just even before you talk, the biggest hypocrites when it comes to the finance bill in Kenya today are ODM MPs.
Really?
Can I tell you why?
Please explain.